Today we're going to Shirakawa-go, a countryside village in Gifu that you can visit as a half-day trip from Takayama or Kanazawa. I'll show you what it's like, how to get there and how busy it is, with lots of tips along the way. We're going from Takayama. Before we get the bus, we're checking out the morning market. The morning market's on every day. It's on until 12 midday, so you don't need to get up too early. All the stalls are along by the river, which is a really easy walk from Takayama station, and it's really close to the old town as well. In a couple of days we'll be back in Tokyo, so this morning we sent our cases by Takibin to our hotel in Tokyo. We sent them a bit earlier than we needed to because we weren't sure if it would take 24 hours or 48 hours, but they'll be there waiting for us, it's okay. The staff helped us fill in the forms, and they also phoned our next hotel to confirm our reservation, so we didn't need to worry about telling the hotel the bags were coming or anything. They handled all of that for us, and it was really easy. For 2 large suitcases, it was 4,380 yen. That's from Takayama to Tokyo. For this particular trip, Takibin is perfect because when we leave Takayama, we're staying one night in Toyama, so we can go straight away early morning on the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine route, which is a journey through the mountains, and you really don't want to have your suitcases with you for that. Some of these buildings look like in Gion, don't they?
Yes.
With these bamboo blinds.
And where is that place you went to, the Matsuri? That had the dark wood buildings?
Yeah, that's what this tower reminded me of in Kawagoe, near Tokyo. Looks like there's a few restaurants down here. This street is parallel with the river on the side of the station. It's a lovely morning, the water's really glittering. Wouldn't it be nice to have a balcony along here to look out on the river every morning? Can you see the heron? And someone's feeding the koi carp. There's a lot more of them out today. And this is the street where the morning market is. Also across the street, very important, there's a stationery shop. I love stationery. The morning market opens at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. during winter, and it goes on till midday. There's takoyaki here. The sauce smells really good. Oh, there's Welsh onion takoyaki as well. There's mini taiyaki like I had yesterday. Some pickles.
Is it a citrus chopping box?
I could really smell the wood from that store.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a mixture of food and snacks. There's some flowers, like local crafts and souvenirs, and food to take away.
Local honey.
And all these shops are open by the side, and the stalls on this side. Some mochi. There's gohe mochi like I had yesterday. Plants. We're not allowed to bring them back. They can't go in our suitcase. There's senbei. More pickled things. It's hard to tell what all the pickles are actually. Most of them don't have English labels on all that sort of thing. I came across this last night where they keep the festival floats. I thought it might be open during the daytime, but it's still closed today. Here's what it looks like. Hida pork buns, steamed buns, and Hida apple bun, Ringo man. Ringo is apple. Yeah, that looks like the end of the stalls. Oh, there's a little onigiri shop here. We saw this last night when it was closed. They got rice balls, all different flavours. There's some with brown rice, and Hida pork miso soup and Hida beef soup. I bet the fish know when the stalls are out, when they're going to get fed. The heron's still over there watching. It's a sweet potato stand. They've got sweet potato chips, they've got ice lollies, a sweet potato that tastes like dessert. One soup, one life. They've got Purin. Often when you hear it's a market in Japan, you think it's a fish market. This, I don't think there's any fish here at all. It's all snacks, little food bits to take away, like pickles and jams and things, and souvenirs and local crafts. They're so big. Oh, they're so fast. I don't know if you can tell the scale, but these fish are really big. They get fed a lot, I guess. Pigeons trying to get in on the fish food. And you see the smaller fishes as well as the koi carp. These fish really are like this, compare the size to the pigeons.
Over there, and I'll get them to jump.
Okay, go on. Huh? They jumped out the water. Feeding frenzy. These guys probably can't get through the river to get to the shallow part over there. You see that hawk? Now we're going along for breakfast/lunch at a tofu restaurant. That's in a separate video about restaurants in Takayama. It was amazing and the most tofu I've ever eaten in one meal. Now it's time to get the bus to Shirakawa-go. It's just next to the train station. Here are the bus stops at the Nohi Bus Centre. It says really clearly where they all go to, and number 4 is Shirakawa-go for us. Here's where we got the tickets for the bus for Shirakawa-go, and there's a waiting room in here as well. We just arrived at Shirakawa-go. It took about 50 minutes on the bus. Right here at the bus station, there's some bathrooms, and behind me there's some coin lockers. I'm kind of surprised how many people have their suitcases with them. I know you can stay overnight in some of the houses. It's alright, it's gone now. Phil was being attacked by an insect. Since we're a bit squeamish about them since we saw a hornet this morning. So yeah, I'm surprised how many people have suitcases. You can stay here, and you can also take the bus from Takayama to Shirakawa-go, and then from Shirakawa-go to Kanazawa. So you could make this a travel day, stopping off here. Maybe that's what people are doing. I think if I did that, I would definitely tuck in my luggage so I wouldn't have to carry it around. Wow, this is a giant coin locker. It's 1,000 yen. That's much bigger than normal ones. It says, if lockers aren't available, go store your luggage in this house behind the terminal. We booked a reserved bus yesterday at the bus terminal at Takayama Station. The bus was a lot emptier than I was expecting. There were only 7 people on it, but I'm sure that's different at other times of year. Today it's a weekday, it's a Thursday, and we got the 1:20 p.m. bus. There are unreserved buses as well, and if you buy your ticket online you can get a ticket for unreserved buses. I didn't want to do that because I'd heard about one person who took unreserved buses and then couldn't get a seat on the bus home and had to go to a different destination and then get a train to get back. And I just didn't want that bother, so we've gone for reserved both ways. Straight away when you arrive, Shirakawa-go is gorgeous. As well as the traditional Japanese gassho style farmhouses, I loved how it's surrounded by nature in the countryside. So many lily pads. I can't see any fish in there. Oh, I can hear a frog though, I think. Sounds like it's coming from in there. Look, there's tadpoles in the water. I've already seen lots of snacks around and some restaurants. Over there you can get Hida beef buns, and I saw a tempura restaurant, and I saw people walking up a slope that I think is to an observatory up there where you can get an overview of the whole village. There's no entrance fee, it's free to just wander around the village. There are some houses you can go inside which have entry fees of 300 to 400 yen, and there's an open air museum that's 800 yen. Everywhere in Shirakawa-go is easily walkable. It is quite small, but there's enough to do for a few hours. Oh, this is a nice river. I love hearing the sound of the water. There are these fire monitor stations dotted around. I don't know if you've seen videos of the festival where they test the fire system and they have all fountains of water spraying around everywhere. It's a bit like a firework display, a water show. The fire drill's only once a year at the end of October. That's the restaurant there. Maybe they've got a view of the river. That'd be nice. They've got hoba miso, that's what we had the other night, or as we called it, beef on a leaf, just next to a rice field. I think this water wheel's decorative only, there's no stream here. There's a cafe down there. There's lots of places to eat. And up there you can just see the mountains peeking through. Here's one for all you manhole collectors. These triangular houses are a lot taller than I was expecting. It does make you feel small walking between them, especially with all these tree-covered mountains around the outside of the village. The triangular shape of the houses is designed to withstand the weight of all the snow that falls here in winter. This thatch on the roof is so thick and chunky, look at that. How tempting is it to go in that? There's all the Senja Fuda stuck on the temple that pilgrims stick on with their names. Or there's some bamboo. In my videos, I always try and show it like it is, so you have an idea of how busy places are and what they're really like, not just perfect Instagram shots. On this visit to Gifu, everywhere was a bit less busy than I expected, so I think it was a fairly quiet time at the beginning of June. While some areas are quite congested, there are also empty streets that are much calmer. As always, everyone seemed crowded into several areas. Especially visiting later in the day, you'll see towards the end of the video that after about 4 p.m, most people have gone home and it was really peaceful. Oh, the river's so wide here. You can feel this bridge moving a bit. We got this map when we bought the bus tickets. We're headed for 23, which is the house of Purin. We heard that Shirakawa-go has good Purin, and we had Purin in Atami the other day, which also said it was the best Purin in Japan, so we've got to do a taste test. The flavours are coffee, matcha, gohe mochi, which is sesame and nuts, custard, jelly and pudding, and honey. It won the Japan Pudding Award. There's pudding ice cream too, that looks nice. It was 990 yen for the 2 purins. I've gone for custard, the standard flavour, and Phil's got honey. One of them comes with a sauce, we're not quite sure which one.
We're not quite sure which one's which.
No, that probably looks like the honey with the sauce on the bottom.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But we'll easily find out. This is very smooth and creamy. The custard one has a really nice vanilla flavour. What we think is the honey one has a kind of jelly on the top. I'm not quite sure if we got the jelly one by accident.
It tastes okay, but it's not as nice as the original. I made that mistake again. Did the same in Atami, but it's still nice.
Yeah, in Atami the original was better than the strawberry one, so that's why I went for the original.
Yeah, I'd say go for the original.
It's a good way to keep the drinks cool, and it's a nice water feature. And there's some long fish down there. I wasn't sure if there'd be any vending machines here, but there are a couple. And look, there's Shirakawa gachapon. There's a snow globe. Oh, and that's a pouch. And this one's a water bottle holder. This isn't just a tourist attraction. People do still live in some of these houses. There's lots of signs saying keep out of the private properties, don't go into all the houses. You can't just walk anywhere you like. It must be kind of annoying having so many tourists going around where you live, but I guess you know that when you buy the house. What a view across the rice fields. That's lovely. I've never seen as many rice fields as on this trip to Gifu, and I just loved it. Look how they reflect the mountains like a mirror. Over there, there's one house out on its own if you want to live away from everyone else. We're heading to the shuttle bus to go up to the observation point. Normally I would walk, it's only a 20-minute walk, but it's pretty hot today in the sun, so we're going to get the bus up and walk back down. It said on the map the bus finishes at 3:40 p.m, so it's better to get here earlier in the day to get through everything. The bus is every 20 minutes until 3:40, and it costs 300 yen. You pay when you're on the bus. Right now it's the first week of June. The temperature today is 22 degrees C, but it definitely feels a lot hotter than that when you're in the sun. It's quite cool in the shade, but the sun is really strong. It's stronger than it feels in the UK. That was a very short bus ride, but I think 300 yen each was well worth it when it's this hot. And there were no spoilers for the view on the way up. Here we go. Whoa, they look so tiny down there. They look really cute actually from a distance. And you can see just how big the mountains are. There's that house that was all on its own. A bear was spotted at the observation deck. He must have been enjoying the view. That's where we were just now, and we just walked down here. And there's actually a kind of a better view of the village without the trees in the way. You can see all the rice fields, and you can see all the houses really well. They look so tiny. It's good there are vending machines up here on such a hot day, and it's good to know that Coca-Cola welcomes us to Shirakawa-go. It's about a 10-minute walk to the observation point, a lot easier on the way down, and it is quite shaded, thank goodness. Today I don't think it's the busiest that it gets here, judging by how empty the bus was, or maybe that's just because it was a 1:30 bus and more people come earlier in the day. There are people around, it's sort of okay walking around. I don't think you'd want any more people here, but there are certain points where everyone seems to be clustering, like the Purin shop and at the start of the bridge where it was quite busy. A lot of the cafes and the houses you can go in do seem to close quite early, and like the shuttle bus stop running, so I think it's better to come earlier in the day. It seems like in general places in Japan outside the big cities tend to go to bed quite early, and another tip for places outside big cities is to bring cash with you, because I've seen a lot more places that are cash only. They say you should spend about 2 to 3 hours here. You might want more like 3 hours if you want to walk up to the observation deck, because that does take a little bit of time. So things to do are walking around, taking pictures, having snacks. There's a few houses you can go inside. You have to pay to get into them. And there's a little open air museum across the river that you have to pay to get into as well. We've been here about 2 hours now, and we've walked around. We've been up to the observatory, we've had our Purin, but we haven't been inside any of the houses, to give you an idea of how long you might spend here. Look at that big butterfly. Most of these waterways don't have any fish in, but this one does. It's 4:20 and it's suddenly got a lot quieter. Seems like a lot of people have gone home, and it's actually a lot nicer walking around like this. Much more calm. The carp streamers are still out from Children's Day. That was about a month ago in Golden Week. And look at that. Is that some sort of crab kids seat? I think this rice field needs a top up. I'm quite impressed with how accessible it is around Shirakawa-go. The ground is paved and it's pretty flat, and even the way up to the observation deck is a slope. I mean, it is a bit steep, but it is a slope. Down there's a bunch of frog spawn and tadpoles. You don't see that often. There's a shrine gate up there by the telegraph pole. I wonder what this gate's for here. There's a QR code for the English there. It's the bell tower of Myozenji Temple, built in 1801. Some of the houses are guest houses, so you can stay overnight if you want to. It must be really pretty in the evening. Kids on bikes. It must be really pretty in the evening and walking around at night. Here's a shrine. Look how chunky that rope is on the gate. People say Shirakawa-go is really nice in the winter when it's snowy, and I can really see how that would be the case. It would be so cozy, especially if you stayed in one of the cottages. You need to visit between late December and early March if you want to see the Shirakawa snow. I'm really glad we're here when the rice fields are full of water though. They're so pretty. It can be dangerous when it's snowy though. Wow. That's a nice garden with a little bridge. Can we have that at home? Oh, there's still a few people around by the river. I thought it might be empty now. While people do live here, this is a preserved historical village. It's one of those places that exist for tourism, for people to enjoy and get a glimpse of the past. However, just like with Takayama, I didn't feel like it's touristy. There are shops and cafes, but it's not overdeveloped or tacky. It's not a tourist trap. No one's trying to rip you off or take advantage. It's about 5 o'clock now, so we're going to head back towards the bus stop to catch our bus back. Our bus is at 5:20. So we've spent about 2.5 hours here. We've barely done any of the actual attractions, but we've had a really nice walk around and I've really enjoyed it. If you want to eat here in a restaurant, especially a sit-down meal, you might want to plan an extra hour or two for that. So I both would and wouldn't recommend coming here late. It's been really nice walking back at 5 o'clock with the pathways completely empty, but if you want to go to the cafes and the attractions like the museums, you might miss them if you come late. We're at Shirakawa-go in the bus terminal and there's a stamp. That's nice, the gassho style houses, and there's another one, Japan's World Cultural Heritage. Here's our tickets. On the reserved bus you get seats reserved, so we don't need to worry. The bus has space for luggage underneath. Honestly, if I was taking luggage, I'd probably use Takubin instead. I can't believe how long this tunnel is. I'm really glad I'm not driving. 11 kilometres. I used a regional rail pass, the Alpine Takayama Matsumoto Area Tourist Pass, because it includes the Tateyama Kurobe Alpine route. It doesn't include this bus, so another option would be the Takayama Hokuriku Area Tourist Pass, also from Japan Railways. That one includes the bus to Shirakawa-go, as well as Kanazawa, which is known as Little Kyoto, Fukui, which is known for dinosaurs, and Kyoto and Osaka. I'd highly recommend going to Gifu and the Hida area, especially if you like the countryside, if you want to see historic, traditional Japan and have a chilled time. Takayama is 2 hours 20 minutes from Nagoya, which might sound long, but it's a lovely scenic train ride. Take a look at the Takayama playlist on my channel for more things to do and places to eat. The food there is so good. And there are 1 or 2 more Gifu videos coming up if you want to subscribe. I'll see you next week with new Japan videos every Thursday.